Hello everyone, my name is Loko and welcome to a best of 7 series of top level StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is a Protoss versus Zerg. We're in game number 1 in the top right hand corner, playing with the blue Zerg drones. We have none other than Rogue and his opponent down in the bottom left, playing with the red Protoss pieces. He goes by the name of hero. A best of 7 between two of the world's very best players. Now, I have been loving Rogue's Zerg versus Terran. I think his ZVT is looking really strong. The last time, however, that I saw him play a long ZVP, I wasn't nearly as impressed. It seems like he's been really working on his Zerg versus Terran. Zerg versus Protoss, though, is one of those matchups where if you don't get a flying start, the game can become extremely difficult. And Hero, well, he's one of the trickiest Protoss players to go up against. Not afraid to mix it up, and extremely good when it comes to that early game harassment. So we'll have to see exactly what he decides to do. If I were to make a guess, though, we're going to see the good old Adepts. And when the Twilight Council is going to finish, I'm assuming we will see a Stargate right here. Come on, no, come on, dude. Be a bro. Hero, come on. It's a Twilight Council. Huh. All right, he's mixing it up. That's actually a little bit odd. Generally speaking, I want to say 9 out of 10 games, we see a Stargate as the very first tech structure for Protoss in this matchup. So for him to mix it up a little bit here at the beginning of a best of 7 does mean that he's got a variety of strategies in mind. I'm still assuming we're going to see Stargate builds most of the time. This could be Glaive Adept, this could be Dark Templar rushes, this could be Archon drops. There's a bunch of variety there. Technically, you can also go into Blink and Charge and all the rest of it, but yes. Glaive Adept does make the most sense, so this is the attack speed improvement for the Adept. First one is already out. This is a super quick upgrade, though. It is quite common in modern StarCraft 2 to go for the Resonating Glaives research, but usually you do it after opening up Stargate. So you go Twilight Council, after you go into the Stargate shenanigans, and then the Adepts still can deal a lot of damage. This is a build order that we used to see a lot when Legacy of the Void first came out. Now, I guess about a decade ago, 2015 is when Legacy of the Void came out. This is a strat that we used to see quite a bit back then, and also I think with Heart of the Swarm releasing, a lot of players were giving this sort of strat a try. These days, it is very uncommon, mostly because Zerg players can counter it relatively easily, but I guess since it is so uncommon, there's a good shot that Rogue is not going to be prepared for it at all. He is going for a safety Roach Warren. This is a quick Warren. Normal timing of that is, well, sometimes up to like a full minute later than this. Third base is now done, but he's already making an awful lot of units. I think he's seen, yeah, that there is indeed a pylon building in the middle of the map, and he does not trust this whatsoever. Gateway on the back of this. There is a third Nexus. Hero actually leading the economical game right now, despite the fact that his third is way later here than Rogue. He is, or than Rogue's rather. He's got, well, 32 drones versus 38 probes at this point in time. So let's see. A lot of units are getting rushed in now. I guess the idea is just to send in as many of these troops as he can. Hero doesn't even know about the positioning of the third. So this has been a completely scoutless opener. This could be one of those awkward games, though, where Hero actually pulls ahead, despite the fact that he's not dealing any damage. Mostly just because Rogue has been making so many units for such a long time already. Yeah, he is preparing to hold a 2-base all-in here from Hero. But so far, I mean, it's 44 workers now versus 33 drones. So far, Hero is just sort of sitting in the middle of the map doing a whole lot of nothing. Shading the units forward, but not really committing to any attack. Is this the way to do it, actually? Oh, no. Hero, no! Okay, we're good. This is something Hero does time and time again. The only caveat here, because I actually quite like this position here for Hero, the only caveat is that those Adepts, they do fall off the longer that the game goes on. So he needs to commit. The problem is that if he gets surrounded and biled, oh god. Almost. He could very easily lose these units. In the meantime, there is a big Zergling run by Still. This time around, there is a Adept on hold position. I think you just want to maximize the damage here as Protoss. Yeah, just get some value here out of those Adepts and then try to just play a macro game on the back of this. It's an odd way to open up, and it really only makes sense because the opponent respected it a lot. Because in theory, in this particular case, Rogue could have just droned up straight to like 3-base saturation, which he could have easily been on before he started ever making any army. Now, hero decides to donate a couple more units. A bit unnecessary. Okay. It's a lot of dead adepts. But look at the worker count. So that's the real story here. Hero is losing every single fight, but he is now more than 20 workers up on the opponent, despite the fact that he lost 7 probes as well. Dark Shrine? I feel like this one... There it is. Dark Shrine should have been planted a little bit sooner. Zergs will always defend this with hatchery-based tech, so there is no form of mobile detection here for the Zerg player. It means that he's not going to be able to, well, easily kill something like, for example, a Dark Templar. In this instance, though, at least initially, hero is going to have to defend the counterattack here that Rogue is going for, with, I guess, mostly Adepts and Blink Stalkers. Let's see. Can Rogue actually get some good value out of all of this? The Dark Shrine is only about halfway done. The Adepts, okay, do get a decent trade so far. Very scrappy game number 1. Hero's economy is going to be phenomenal, assuming he can hold on for a little bit longer. Zerglings, okay, do sneak into the bases. Sadly, the shade did not quite complete there in the right spot. Probes are going to evacuate the third. Dark Shrine also gets spotted. Rogue should immediately fire up a lair. At this point, though, I don't think he really cares. No, he is smelling blood. 14 probes have already died. Interestingly enough, Hero's still leading. He just needs to hold on without losing literally everything. And at this point, it kind of looks like he is starting to lose quite literally everything. 25 probes down, still leading the worker count. Now Dark Templar are here. You know what? The Dark Templar are going to be able to clean all of this up. A very strange way to begin this particular series. But I guess it's okay. I think it's fine. Yeah, we end up with 35 probe kills. But ultimately, the supply count is pretty even. Lair is coming up. So mobile detection will be an option. But at this point, Rogue has already lost a lot of those expensive units of his. He does have detection set up in places too with those Spore Crawlers to try and deal with any Dark Templar that go across. But we've just sort of reset the match. And I guess we pretend that the first 8 minutes of the game were just a normal macro match, right? Like, this could have been, if you just skipped the first few minutes of this, yeah, you could have just assumed that this was a normal macro game to begin with. Tech-wise, Hero is obviously ahead. Roach speed is going to make life much easier, I guess, for Rogue eventually, but that's going to be a little bit until it's done. Glaive to Depths, not really achieving that much, but certainly making this first game of the series a little bit messy. He's trying to kill as many of those probes as he can. Right now, Hero would have liked to have saved quite a few more of those workers. By the way, can we talk about this for a little bit? One of the reasons that so much aggression was actually viable was because of this garbage wall-off that Hero decided to create for himself. So stupid. I don't even point it out anymore because it's something that Hero does so consistently. But this wall-off, I guess it is a performative art. Oh my god, look, he is so keen on hitting the all army hotkey that he's putting a probe on hold position. Why are we... Why? What? Okay. It works, I suppose. Bunch of Adepts on the other side of the map. They decide to shade back home. We do now have an Overseer in the mix, so Dark Templar are not going to be an easy way of just pushing all of these Zerg players' units here away. All army hotkey to get the Phoenix back home again, too. Is this going to be the type of games we're going to play, Hero? Very scrappy. I don't even think Dark is off to the military yet, but he's already missing him. At this point, though, this is usually what he plays against Dark. At this point, though, Rogue's army is looking pretty massive. I don't know if it's going to be enough to push through all of this yet. Hero is still, by the way, leading the economic game. Mostly because Rogue has not been adding on a whole lot of units. He's been taking his game very seriously so far. really respecting his opponent's decision-making, and I honestly wonder if he's respecting it a little bit too much. He is just doubling down on the aggression now. Ravagers and Zerglings will be his weapon of choice. Charge is just a little bit away from finishing here, so hero might be able to hold on eventually, but Charge is not going to be too useful either, and he just doesn't have that many troops. Shield battery recharge there to try and get some additional energy on it. Honestly, though, the army here for hero is just looking absolutely tiny. Corrosive balls are landing wherever they can. Not everything is microed out of, but hero trying his best to just sustain as much of his army as he can. The problem is, I don't think he can really stop the Zerg flood that easily. Rogue has got a lot more troops coming across. This is only Ravagers now remaining, though. And Ravagers are quite expensive. Some good micro here with the Stalkers. This is one of the messiest games, #1 in the series that I've seen for quite a bit, actually. Very, very scrappy. Very low eco. Worker count now dead even between the two. He's just raining biles wherever he can to try and slow down the advancement, at least, of those Stalkers. Hitting a couple of corrosive biles on his own units, too. Hero decides to blink forward. I don't think that's the play. Bunch of probes pulled away from their mineral line right now, ready to fight. Zealots are here, though, and they are charging. And eventually, hero does push these units away from the base. Okay. 300 dead Zerglings. 62 dead probes. 0 drones lost. I think Rogue is just going to double down. I don't think Rogue is really going anywhere anymore. You know what he could do? Swarm hosts. Unironically, I don't think swarm hosts would be absolutely garbage here. Mostly just because hero doesn't have, well, really anything. He's just got a bunch of sentry, stalkers, and zealots. It's nice and all. I guess an Archon or two is good, but this is not like an Immortal. There's no Colossus. There's no Storm. There's no real follow-up plan here. Hero has been playing survival now ever since he basically has made the Glaives research. After that very first Adept attack, he's just been trying to stay alive. Man, imagine if he would have put down the Dark Shrine a little bit sooner, though. I feel like his whole defense there would have been 10 times better. Now the Queens are here, too. Look at the amount of force fields. I mean, if Zerg overextends, hero could go for the full-on counterattack. Interestingly enough, there is no robo facility, so hero cannot be making a observer. He can't make a war prism here. He is, however, going +3 ground. So he's got +3 ground started up before he ever made a robo facility. Hero has 0 forms of detection at this point, other than, I guess, a photon cannon if he ever made one of those. He has not. So he has no detection. Another thing that Rogue could do is go into, I guess, tunnel plot roaches. It would be really sick. Not really something you usually do, though, as a Zerg player, so I can imagine that he's not really thinking of that sort of thing, but what a match to start this series. Hero does need to warp in, though. He's got a ton of money in the bank. Oh, he's supply blocked. Oh my god, he's heavily supply blocked. Rogue, by the way, has been eating a lot of his own corrosive biles. I've seen roaches get hit. The Overseer got hit. Ravagers have gotten hit. Zerglings have gotten hit. And some of the units have also, I guess, damaged that of the Protoss, but... Okay. I've always thought that it was Dark dragging Hero down to his level. Maybe it's been Hero dragging Dark down to his level this entire time, because I've seen Rogue play some really clean games over the last few months. This is the polar opposite of a clean game. Look at this. He's funneling units with force fields. Somehow that Roach... Oh, sorry about that, buddy. Stay alive for a little bit longer than his friends. Tunnel Clot Roaches would actually be sick here. Finally, a robo facility, though, is coming up. A 4th Nexus is now building. Rogue has not really made any drones. Like, he made, like, 1 round of drones. Another good set of force fields. But after the Glaive to Depths, he made, like, 1 round of drones, and that's it for the entirety of the game. This choke point. Oh my god, there's the aggressive link. This choke point is actually insane. So much death, so much carnage. There's a full massacre happening on Erreholm. Ay, ay, ay. Rogue, by the way, only just now started up the first research for those roaches and ravagers. So, I mean, he's been fighting against +3 attack ground with 0 upgrades for his roaches of his own. That's crazy. 4th Nexus is now finished. A little Zergling run by would have been phenomenal. But we have gone full caveman style right now. Both players just opting to just, I don't know, ram units at each other. This is now a 16-minute game. If this was like rank roulette and the usernames of both of the players would have been covered up and I had to guess what league this was, I think I would have guessed something like Masters. I'm not even joking. Like, the macro is pretty solid, evidently. Players are doing a good job spending, but there's a lot of very suboptimal play. That feels toxic. Also, the strategic choice to go for a Twilight Council. GG. The fact that he went for a Twilight Council into Glaives. I can't believe it. That was a very strange game. So to recap it, right, from Rogue's point of view, Rogue scouted that there was a very quick proxy in the middle of the map. So he saw the pylon, he saw the gateway, he didn't really know what he was playing against, but he had confirmed at that point that it wasn't a Stargate, because an Oracle would have already been out. He would have already lost an Overlord to a Void Ray. There would have already certainly been some sort of sign of it. He saw a bunch of Glaive Adepts when he was sitting at 33 drones, and he started making non-stop army. hero then decided to just send in waves of Adepts with the Shade, but never actually committed to finishing the Shade until much later. And Rogue was just making non-stop army the entire time. Generally speaking, the idea for Zerg against Glaive Adepts, and that is quite textbook, is to overmake defensive units and then counterattack afterwards. Because of that, it's very common for Protoss when they're in like a delayed situation, like a stretched out Glaive Adept build, to go for a quick Dark Shrine so they can defend the counterattack. And hero did that, but he did it very late. Like, a Dark Shrine is a bit expensive, I suppose, but he had the money to plant it down way earlier than that. So even though I don't think really the Glaive Adept build was off to that good of a start, as far as the damage dealt goes by the Adepts themselves, Rogue was making non-stop army to try and defend against it, and then counterattack, even though the Dark Shrine could have prevented the entirety of the counterattack. Then Rogue was like, okay, I guess I'm now doubling down on my all-in, and he decided to make one wave of drones. I think he built like maybe a grand total of 45 workers that entire game long, and that was it. That was all he ever built. After that, he decided to just make non-stop army. Roaches, Ravagers, and I guess at some point he got an Evo Chamber too, but what a weird way to start off the games. Okay, well this time around we have something a lot more orthodox. Oh, sorry about that, Brenda. The hatchery just birthed Brenda, and she immediately got thrown into stasis. You will henceforth be known as Stasis Brenda. Everybody needs a nickname, it's important. You know what? Look at his Oracle. Yeah. Apparently we're no longer committing to actual attacks. Jesus. What's going on, hero? Someone put something in hero cereal this morning. Like... it's so dumb. It's so dumb and it shouldn't work, but it does. Sometimes, man, we see hero play the cleanest, most beautiful games of StarCraft, and you're like, oh god, I've got chills all over my body. And then sometimes, like in the previous game, we see him putting a probe on hold position because he knows he's gonna press the all army hotkey. It seems like today, even though we haven't seen that style from hero in a while, today we have that messy, scrappy hero once more. It is going to be Glaive Adepts after the Oracles, this time around. Now, it's a lot of lost mining time. Yeah. So, for about a minute there, we did see about 1,000 resources more for hero. Oh, we're hunting down the queen themselves. This is Stasis Brenda. Oh my god. Soon to be dead Brenda at this rate. Nope, overextension on the Oracle. This hasn't been the worst harassment though by hero, but it is sloppy. It is messy. It is not that clinical precision that we have almost grown accustomed to over the last few months. Yep. Went back home, got some extra energy on the Oracle, using that recharge ability, and once more we are moving across the map. Rogue has already been building though this base in the far bottom right. We are on Persephone, by the way. It's the map, of course, with that golden base at the 3 o'clock position. Hydra then coming up. This time around, we have skipped any sort of roach or baneling play. There's the Glaive Adept. And these can hurt. It's uncommon to go for this strategy in the first place. Especially after you've done it in the previous game too, although I guess that was a different variant of it. Look how much damage they actually got done. Now the Adept shade to the main. Hero, this is so dirty. Okay, it looks like the gloves are off. I mean, that first game felt like a quick match to me. Because neither player really ever transitioned out of like the early game, I suppose, but... We already find ourselves now in game number 3, and that one will take place on Amygdala. We're once more starting off with a Stargate. We'll have to see if we go for a Glaive Adept follow-up. 3 out of 3 games for Glaive Adept is a little bit funky. So hero dealt a ton of damage, economically speaking, right? With those Glaive Adepts. And then he sloppily lost... Or sorry, with the oracles early on, right? The stasis wards. And then he sloppily lost one of the oracles for no apparent reason at all. Like, he kind of crossed his fingers and hoped that one of the queens was AFK. It's just not generally the way that you approach that sort of situation, but... I guess we're gonna go for... What are we building? I mean, we have a Stargate. What are we... What are you doing? Okay. What was that? Why did we patrol the probe? We had the money for that pylon quite a bit before that point. If that was the idea, then why did we... Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes I feel like hero is in like the middle of a phone call or something while he's playing this match. Or maybe he's like playing a round of Hearthstone Battlegrounds or something in the background too. And he's like, oh, okay, I guess I gotta alt tap out, quickly get some games in. Quickly get some moves going. So far, so good, though. The scoreboard does not lie. Okay, third Nexus, 345 is the norm. He knows that the opponent has to open up with triple hatch. Oh my god. The revelation didn't catch anything. He just used the revelation there and got absolutely nothing other than the unbuildable plates. He wanted to get the creep tumors, but he did not consider the high ground, I guess. Part of that. Okay, messy. He's piloting it back home straight through the middle now. Okay, well, he's finding some damage here, I guess. Ooh. Lasers, lasers, okay. Quick clicking right there, though, by Rogue. Saves the workers. Not bad. Twilight Council, together with a Forge. Now, this is looking like a very conventional Blinkstalker follow-up. An additional Oracle will be hitting the battlefield in just a moment, so we're up to 3. And we're gonna go for 4. They know it's better than 3 Oracles. 4 Oracles. What's better than 4 Oracles? 5 or... What's better than 5 Oracles? Just keep making Oracles, man. Just keep making more Oracles. 4 Oracles is kind of nice too, I guess. Mostly because of the fun. Oh my god, he wants to kill queens, man. Rogue is... I wonder what Rogue is feeling at this point while he's playing this match. Like, he is playing against the bully. This is the type of Protoss player that wants to take your lunch money, that will give you a wedgie when you walk by. Like, it's all a little bit mean. Apparently 4 Oracles is how we are gonna settle this for now. Up until this point, though, despite all the memes and, well, maybe some of the messy control, he hasn't lost anything yet. So heads off right here to hero. He's not gonna be able to kill a hatch. Look at this. You don't have to stutter step them, dude. Why are we stutter stepping oracles? What's the point? He just wanted to show off. There's no reason for that, but fair enough. He's gotten some incredible value out of these units up until this point. Okay, so Infestation Pit coming up here for Rogue. I don't think he's lost a unit yet. This has been a flawless game so far for hero. Oh, not a queen? Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, he's gonna take your lunch money next, Rogue. Lucky for you, you've won a lot of StarCraft tournaments. Rogue is one of the few StarCraft 2 millionaires, earning a good bit of change over the years. As far as tournament earnings go, I think he's sitting at like 1.1, something along those lines. Not including team salary and the rest of it. Okay, so we have photon cannons, we have Storm. Blink is just about to finish up. I mean, this fourth hatchery has been cancelled once. There's about 0% chance that this hatchery is going to live a second time around. Assuming hero actually warps in units. Now, he's low on gas. If he would have been on top of his production, he could have actually easily cancelled his base. For some reason, he's low on gas and he's not warping in. Oh, he's late on the additional gateways. He's only on 5. That's why. Okay. So, because of that, actually, Rogue escapes. I think if hero was committed, and he played this a little bit better macro-wise, he would have been able to force a cancel on this fourth hatchery a second time over. At which point, the hive tech is going to be very difficult to pull off. Lurker then is not going to be particularly useful, mostly because you need 8 gases here as Zerg. Now, though, hero's been able to get away with it. Still losing absolutely... Or, sorry, Rogue has been able to get away with it. Hero so far, still not lost a single unit. Gets 2 more workers. It's pretty nice. The fact, though, that Rogue didn't actually get a hatchery council there is huge for him. It's actually kind of weird, but at this point, I don't mind the position for Rogue that much, despite the fact that he's been beaten in the face 17 times already, and he's clearly not in a comfortable spot. I feel like hero is just about to do something stupid. Like, he's oozing confidence right now. Yeah, blinking into lurkers is one of the things. But I feel like we're just about to witness something really dumb. I don't know what it is going to be yet. But I'm starting to get that vibe. Because this man has been bullying for one too many times. And I've got a feeling that... Oh, first blood? First blood. Okay. He decided better. He decided otherwise. Okay. Fleet Beacon coming up. Second Stargate coming up. +1 arrow weapons researching. This is... Oh, okay. This is very okay. Like, this is what we want to see from Protoss. You've created so much space. Going straight into Sky... Ooh. Going straight into skytoss here is a great idea. Luckily, he didn't do anything dumb there. I thought he was going to walk his army into lurkers. Kind of looked to me like that was the original plan. There's Mama. 9-minute Mama ship is not bad. Spire, though, is already finishing for Rogue. Yeah, so... He doesn't actually have any Corruptor need yet, but he knows that that is likely going to be something he needs in the near future. So this is an early Spire compared to what we normally see from Zergs. But I think because of this really good start for hero in the game, Rogue has decided, okay, he's likely going to go into a skytoss follow-up. We do see a bunch of Zerglings here. Maybe... Okay, they killed nothing. They killed absolutely nothing. The 2 Zealots were already dead. Maybe a probe, but... Okay. Hero is now playing tower defense on the other side of the map. Lurkers can outrange this, but at this point there's no way that Mama won't spawn. And Hero has already begun the full skytoss transition. I was liking the position for Rogue quite a bit, despite all of the losses, but what in the world is he gonna use this army for? Like, the clock is ticking on this type of unit. Like this type of unit composition. We have Ling, Hydra, Lurker. But what in the world are we going to do with it against full skytoss? Nice council over there on that hatch. Oh, okay. He is going to get surrounded here, it seems, hero. Losing a few too many of the High Templar. Also, in the meantime, though, shading by with some of those leftover Adepts. Zealots going around, but Lurkers are going to try and push that away. Ultimately, though, this is hero giving away some units so he can replace them with better units. Looks like an Overlord Scout did just come in. Additional gateways are just about to finish up. We've got more Stargates building. +1 shields is nearly finishing up. I mean, this is going to be one hell of an army switch. Rogue is smelling it. He has scouted that there are indeed Stargate units, so he's going for however many Corruptors he can make. But at this point, he can only afford 6. We're at 5 Tempest already. Mama has got all of her abilities ready to go. Okay, we're even going to go for the Tectonic Destabilizers research. That is the ability that allows the Tempest to deal bonus damage to structures. It doubles their damage output to structures, like, for example, Spore Crawlers. I mean, this is still technically a very solid game, though, for Rogue. It's just that I've seen a lot of Zerg players from this exact position just get absolutely decimated. He definitely overdid it, by the way. Like, why in the world did hero make this many photon cannons? Like, what does this amount of photon cannons achieve that half of this amount of photon cannons wouldn't achieve? If we're trying to be safe against Lurkers, photon cannons aren't going to be it. If we're trying to be safe against Zergling run-bys, you don't need nearly this many. I'm not entirely sure why we made that many, but it's okay. In the meantime, Rogue is going into an Ultra Cavern, Greater Spire, Second Spire. He's building up all of the things he needs. Stalker's going in around the site. Zealot run-by in the meantime, over on the right as well, dealing a good bit of damage, and I think they're going to be able to kill, well, the hatchery too if they decide to actually target it down. Stalkers in the meantime also not on a tech move. Alright, at least, well, they're on a tech move, but not on, like, specific targets. I guess hero is very focused on trying to fight over here. We do see a parasitic bomb right here on the Mama ship. Some stasis wards are being used too, but the Corruptors are just getting absolutely destroyed. What a game here for hero. Yeah, he just won the game. He just absolutely decimated his opponent's army. Look at this. Look at the cost efficiency. Memes aside, this might be the most cost-effective game of Protoss I have ever seen. GG. Can we just have a look at the resources lost? Look at this. 4,000 minerals, 2,000 gas. Versus 15,000 minerals and 4,000 gas. That's absurd. Well, and there we are. Killer's Mile. Match point already for hero. That previous game was a bit of a tilter, though, I think, for Rogue. Because he didn't have a good start, but it also wasn't awful. He defended all of the big attacks really well. And then ultimately his army just got crushed. And that is one of the themes we've been seeing for Zerg players over the last year or so. When they don't have a decent early game, it just looks like any follow-up becomes extremely messy. So hero obviously got great value on his first Adepts and his first Oracles and all of the other damage that he dealt, but it wasn't particularly clean. I really think if he would have done the Stalker follow-up better, he could have done a kill on the 4th hatchery, and at that point, I would have just called it a hero victory right then and there. But Rogue did get that 4th hatchery up. He did get the Hive going. He did go into all of the late-game tech. He went Ultras, he had the Greater Spire coming, he was prepared to play a late game. But hero struck right when the iron was still hot, right? If that fight would have taken place like a minute later, I think Rogue would have been in a much better spot. Hero recognized the opportunity, though, and he, well, grabbed it with both hands. And he actually did that with, like, 4,500 minerals in the bank as well. So even though he did kind of overmake photon cannons in my mind, he could have actually placed down another dozen, and it would not have hurt him at all. So far, Rogue has not been able to get his feet under him at all throughout this series. He's been the one playing defensively pretty much the entirety of the games. Other than, I guess, match number 1, but that one was a little bit funky. That was not really him wanting to go for an all-in, but being forced into it instead. So So even though he was technically the aggressor there, he didn't really ever get his game going. So let's see what he can do right now on Killer Smile. This is a pretty macro-focused map. But in order to win this series, he will now have to win 4 games back to back to back to back. Not easily done against somebody of herO's caliber. I don't even remember the last time hero lost 4 games in a row. And I don't believe he's going to start today. But maybe Ro can do it. Okay. Oracles. Glaive Adept. Are we gonna research Resonating Glaives? He doesn't have a Twilight Council yet. Interesting. Alright, this is a little bit late. He will be building it up right about right now. This is just going to be good old Adepts together with Oracles. 7 Adepts is actually kind of a lot. You need to respect this as Zerg. So this is a tricky early game push, because sometimes Protoss players skip this, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 5. Apparently, sometimes it's 7. Oh, wow. He commits. Oh, Queens. Yeah, the Queens are going to die in this, right? He's immediately retargeting, though, with the Queens onto the Oracles. 1 Oracle for 1 Queen. Adepts sneak into the main base. Drones did run away in time this time around. Yeah, the early game for Protoss, or for Zerg versus Protoss, has always been quite fragile for Zerg players. There's just 1,000,001 things that can accidentally go wrong. I think it's a little bit more obvious now, though, with the increased cost of the Queen. Like, even though it doesn't seem like that much, it's only a 25 mineral increase, and then, well, to offset it, the hatcheries are 25 minerals cheaper. It really isn't that significant of a nerf, but you can really feel the fragility of the early game for Zerg. There's just so many little things that we see Zerg players accidentally lose to. Now, this, at this point, is actually fine, though. Like, this is by far the best start that Rogue has had throughout this series. I wouldn't call this a flying start for him, but it's not bad. The Stasis Ward is a little painful. Oracle has got enough energy for another one. Another big thing, though, with the most recent balance patch that has taken Protoss players quite a while to get used to, is that energy recharge ability. So you can see it over here in the bottom right. Every time the Oracles go home, they get another little top off as far as the energy goes, and then they go out into the map again. And it really does help Protoss quite a bit. So I think the combination of the Queens being a bit more expensive and the Oracles being a little bit more oppressive, it's really made the early game extremely finicky for Zerg. But Rogue has got a decent start now. Really, hero? Hero has planted down 2 additional Stargates as well as a fleet beacon. So he is not respecting Rogue at all. If Rogue does any form of aggression, even this Zergling run-by is difficult to beat. If he does any form of aggression, hero loses. However, if he does what he did in the previous game, and that's obviously what hero is banking on. Oh, great scout. Great Overseer scout. Okay, he now sees exactly what's happening. This is a big scout right here for Rogue. If he does any form of aggression, I don't think that Protoss can really hold. That being said, the mothership will still begin. Maybe we will still see the Tempest production start up too. But I don't think this is over just yet. Hero is trying to cruise. But we do see a bit of a switch up, although Rogue is not entirely convinced that he can pull it off. He is going Hive, he is going Lurker Den. But he's also going for a big attack. And at this point, there's just not a lot of Protoss. Hero is just invested into a proper late-game army. Nothing in the wall-off over here. I mean, how in the world are you going to defend this? Zerglings run into your bases too. GG. Next up, we find ourselves on Scentworm. Now, normally I fast forward through the first 2 minutes of the game. No way. Oh, no way! He's played so greedily that apparently now in this match, he decides to go for a cannon rush? I haven't seen a cannon rush at the highest level in a long time. It's so uncommon This is, however, of course, a brand new map. Scentworm apparently has a beautiful little pocket where Zerg players can't ever deny it. Yeah. Oh my god. Second gas guys are coming up. Hatchery Council on the low ground. This is going to be a quick Roach Warren into Ravager follow-up here from Rogue. The cannon rush is already successful. Dude. hero is such a bully. And you know what? Maybe I can't say this, but I kind of love it. Probe Scout is heading on over towards the bottom right-hand corner too. Yep. He is gonna find out about this proxy hatch. And guess what? That's gonna allow him everything that he needs. He can put down another pylon. I mean, as long as he doesn't show it. I don't you show. No, you don't show. Okay, well, now you did show it, I think. Maybe. There is a drone. Or no, that's a zealot. Heading on over towards the bottom right corner too. I think he put down a pylon and a photon cannon just to secure the kill, but it doesn't really matter all too much. Ravagers, by the way, not coming up. Rogue wants to go into Link Speed instead. He did make a second gas geyser, but I guess because he snuck out that base, he feels like he's reasonably safe. Links are running towards the bottom right, but there's already an additional zealot moving on over. Even the Overlord is being harassed. There is a pillar, but I don't think he can make it. Pylon also all the way far in the top right here, so I'm not exactly sure what the plan is as far as that follow-up goes. Lardo has begun. Roach Warren is coming up. Overlord is going to die. Yeah. Zealots are here, but that's not going to be enough. Proxy Gateway. Dude. hero is doing everything Zerg players hate in these last couple of games. Like, he's doing everything Zerg players despise playing against. He didn't even get the final hit right there on the Zealot. I mean, this hatchery is irrelevant at this point. It is gonna go down. Brilliant scout. Does hero at least see the gateway? Or, sorry, Rogue. He does see the gateway. Yeah, okay. So that's something. We're now committing to a one base Nidus all-in. In the meantime, Nexus begins for hero. He's gone for an Oracle. I mean, it's gonna be one queen and a bunch of Zerglings. This is not enough. Hero's going to scout. Hero's going to scout. Does he have enough? I mean, he sees the lair. It can really only be a Nidus worm at this point. Or Mutas, I guess, but on one base, that's pretty much impossible. So hero is planting down a pylon in the corner of the base, making sure that he's got vision over there. And obviously the first Overlord was killed. So when you kill the very first Overlord, yeah, where do you put the Nidus worm? Apparently, well, right outside of the natural. Hero doesn't see it yet. I love the force field. Yep, force field is a great idea. Additional Oracle production sounds like a fantastic strategy as well. There is currently nothing protecting the bases here. I mean, there's one queen, but a queen is not gonna prevent a whole lot of damage. Ravagers are here, but there's no anti-air available here for the Zerg player, so... Okay. That is the end of all of the economy of the Zerg. 5 drones now remain. Another corrosive bile to prevent the force field, but hero immediately replaces it. Uses the energy recharge on the sentry to try and just keep that Zerg army out. Brilliant series here by the Protoss as he obtains the victory 4-1.